Hey, 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 happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. Let's talk about it. We're always talking about it. My shirt's kind of crooked. This is like a little sample shirt I was messing around with, but it clearly describes what I'm going to be talking about to you today. So, the title of this, I will call it I was self abuse. I was abusing myself. Self self abuse. So let me give you the definition of self abuse. Misuse of one's own abilities, talents, etc. I really think I wanted to call this emotional abuse. Because, and I'm gonna let me just explain a little bit the reason why this came to me this morning. In the mornings when I wake up in the wee hours and I'm on the way to work and stuff, I think about a lot of things. I love that quiet time because that's like your brain is at its peak, your brain is at its highest, and you just think of things you never probably would normally think of. And so, with that being said, this came to my mind today, this morning, and I was thinking about relationships that I was in, and the reason why, the main reason I'm going to tell you why they did not work, because I went into the relationship thinking I can change someone. You can't change anyone but yourself. Always remember that, and always know that. If you're in a relationship right now and you think you can change somebody, you might as well just get out of it right now, because you're going to end up abusing yourself, putting yourself through stuff that you don't have to, right? We all have this gut instinct, our second brain, and we know what feels right and we know what's not right, right? But a lot of times we see potential, we fall in love with potential, and we think that we can change people, but you cannot. So a lot of times, like 95% of my relationships was me thinking I can change somebody, right? Set up to fail. It's automatically set up to fail when you go into it thinking like that. You either accept the person for who they are or just leave them alone and just save yourself a big heartbreak and a lot of pain, money, all kind of stuff, stress, a lot of unnecessary stuff. So let me go into detail about things. I got some notes here because I've listened to some stuff today that really kind of like tied into it. Everything for me just falls together, and that's how I come up with these videos. It's another video I could have came up with today, but this one right here came to me first, so I wanted to share this one. And then I heard something else today, and I was like, wow. So I want you to think about this question. Everybody wants love, but are you ready for love? Everybody wants love, but are you ready for love? The key word: are you ready for love? It takes work on both parts. But you have to do the self-work first. If you don't have that self-work done, that's to me, that is one of the foundations. If you don't have that self-work done, everything that you try to do is not gonna work. You have to have that self-work done. You got to be whole, you got to be complete, you got to be ready to receive love. Are you ready for love? Think about that, right? And I thought about the movie that I saw this weekend, The Photograph. It's just a really good movie. I don't want to give it away, but you know what? I'm going to start taking my notepad when I go to movies and stuff, because I'm telling you, there's so many lessons in it, so many things I took from it. And I thought about that when somebody else brought it up this morning. And I was like, man, like, that's a question, right? Just really think about that. I mean, people want to be married, they want to be in relationships, but are you ready for love? Like, are you ready to do the work? Have you done the work on yourself? Are you ready? Are you ready? It's so many things go into that question, right? And I just think about me making terrible mistakes and just not really knowing, what this love thing was about, not even knowing who I was, right? And just expecting me from people, and when the people didn't give me, I felt let down, right? So we fall in love with potential, and then it doesn't work. But then we're like, oh, I can't believe this person. No, this person did exactly what they were going to do from the get-go, because that's who they were. Like, that's who they are, We think we can change people. You can't change anybody. The only person you can change is yourself. So just always remember that. And I promise you, it'll save you a lot of heartbreak. a lot of things, period. And for me, like I said, that's my whole thing. That was my whole thing when it came to relationships. I went into it knowing who the person was, but thought I could change them, and that's why nothing ever worked, because I went into it thinking that I can change a person, and you cannot. And so, like I said, with that stuff, it was a cycle. It kept happening because I needed to change, right? I needed to change my approach to what I was doing, and the way I was looking at people in general, right? I had to change me. I had to work on me. I had to do the self work, right? Once you do the self work, you begin to heal. What does healing look like? If you're fresh out of something, a relationship or whatever, if you're trying to move forward, you will have to detach yourself from the experience, right? I'm looking at my notes. Excuse me. You have to detach yourself from the experience in order to move forward. If you don't do this, you will never heal. A lot of people have not detached themselves from the experience or the person, right? And they're wondering why. What's going on? Why is it taking so long? It's taking long because you keep starting over. You keep talking to that person. You keep being around that person. You keep making yourself accessible to this person. You have to detach. And when I tell you, once you detach, you begin to look at yourself. You begin to work on yourself, and you have to do this. You can't detach and still have contact with this person. You can't detach and still be available or accessible to this person. You have to do this for you. You have to do this to get yourself to heal, right? And I don't think that people realize that or understand that. And there were some things that I had to do for me. Number one, I had to change my environment. I had to stop going to places where I knew I would run into this person, right? I had to stop, I had to cut, block. Look here, I had to do this right here. Cut, block, delete. I had to delete that text thread. I had to block from social media. I had to block from my phone. I had to cut completely off in order for me to get myself back to where I need to be at. And until you do that, you will keep starting over. It's like you keep starting over. It's like the first day it happened, the first day you left, the first day whatever. Until you do that, you got to detach. If you don't detach, you will constantly relive that trauma. You will constantly go through that same cycle, and it's so important. And I don't think people understand how important it is. There are places that I don't go no more. There are people that I don't hang around no more, because those are people and those are places that we went. Those are people that we were, it's nothing personal. I had to fill my cup because my cup was empty. My cup was broken, and I needed to get myself back. And we have to understand that. We have to realize that you have to detach in order to start the healing process. I don't think people realize that. And I had to change a whole lot of stuff, right? I had to do a whole lot of things differently. And it was for my best interest. It's not about being everywhere, doing everything with everybody when it comes to you and your life. It's serious. It's a serious business. It's period, And I see that happening, and I'm just like, I don't say anything. I'm just looking like, oh, don't do that. Like, no. Now you're starting all over again. You keep pressing reset, and you're going right back to the thing that broke you. And you never will heal like that. You will never heal like that. Look at me when I'm listen, and look at me when I say that. You will never heal until you detach. Get yourself together, and then one day, guess what? You'll see that person, and you won't see them, because you'll be healed. You'll be good. You'll be whole. You'll be complete again, and you'll be in a better place. So detachment is so important. I really just want to just grind on that. Detachment is so important. And another thing I have on here, just because you meet the right person don't mean nothing if you're not ready. Just because you meet the right person doesn't mean nothing if you're not ready. You got to be ready. And readiness looks like, I worked on myself. I'm ready. I know how to, receive someone. I know how to accept them for who they are and not try to change them for who I want them to be. That's when you set yourself up for a heartbreak, right? disappointment, all of that stuff. You set yourself up for that when you go into it thinking you can change, you can fix, and all that stuff. Like, those are things I did, right? I'm telling you, it does not work. And another thing I really wanted to touch on before I get on off here, when it came to self-abuse, I really want to touch back on that because it probably didn't make sense what I was talking about and tying into that. When it came to self-abuse, a lot of times when I was going through something or I was experiencing pain, what I did was I got tattoos. I had quite a few tattoos. And I'm not saying, not knocking that tattoo business or the tattoo market, but those are things I did when I was feeling pain and I was experiencing pain. I wanted to, not like I wanted to hurt myself, but getting a tattoo was like, okay. And then once I did it, it's like I feel a little better. Sounds kind of crazy, but that's my truth. And those are quite a few reasons why I got tattoos, so many tattoos, because I was experiencing something and I just, that's what I wanted to do. And also a lot of times, not all the time, but some of the time, somebody else was getting tattoos, so I did it too, because I was definitely a follower. I was not a leader, although I knew in my heart I've always been a leader, but I followed people and I did what they did. I did what they wanted me to, until I began to know who I was and what I wanted. And once you get to that place, can't nobody shake you, break you, none of that. But you got to work on yourself in all those areas. Emotional Intelligence is a book that I'm still listening to on Audible. And that book is helping me so much. It's helping me help other people. And it's not like I'm not present. I know how to handle my emotions. Emotional Intelligence. It's such an awesome place to be. It's like right in the groove. It's like, okay, I hear you, I understand, and this is happening around me, but guess what? I'm not gonna react. I'll respond, but I'm not gonna react. It's an awesome place to be in. So a lot of self-work. We gotta do a lot of self-work, and self-work is something for me that I constantly do. So that's what I want to talk about today. Self-abuse, right? You got to love yourself and understand and know that you cannot change anyone. Work on yourself, get yourself together, right? Do that for you. You can't pour from an empty cup. So until next time, let's talk about it. We always talking about it. Detach. You're going through something that's not good for you, it's not healthy for you. You got to detach. Remember that. Please. You save yourself a heartbreak. Some people just stabbing their own self in the chest over and over again. When you gonna stop? Later. Peace, love, and hair grease.